family stories. I am a daughter and granddaughter of migrant farm workers. Again, I mentioned earlier, my grandmother visited as a young child right alongside him with the Nayuka here. And so this is near and dear to my heart. And just want you all to know that the work that the Moss experts do is incredibly important. As Chris said earlier, I think that culturally relevant teaching is vital for the development of our students and ultimately for our nation. And so, again, I'm inspired by the literature and the writings of individuals who respect and acknowledge what it means to involve our culture in everyday life and in every core subject that we teach, because core content can definitely involve and implement Mexican American studies. And so I'm happy to be here and happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Hi, I'm June Terraza, and I am part of the Anthropologist. I chair the English department at North Vista College, and I also work with our CMOS program at NBC, and I am also the chair of Knox in Oxford. And I want us all to really think about today, because I've been thinking about it for a couple of weeks now as I sit through workshops from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board on what they want to do for the next, I don't know, 15 years to do it. Oh, it's a year.
June, can you get a little closer to the microphone, please?
My mic's out. Now it's on. Is it on now?
Yeah.
Okay. So this has really been on my mind in terms of Mexican American studies and navigating and negotiating through higher ed in terms of the 60 by 30. Have you all heard of that? Yes. Okay. So what I was thinking about was not only how do we save humanities, right? Because 60 by 30 is 60% of college students should have a degree, and it should be industry-based, right? So I think that what concerns me is they're calling it student-centered teaching again, but I think it's more education for industry. Corporate, yes. And so, of course, the 4 goals for the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board are marketable skills in each class. And if you can't prove that your class offers marketable skills, then it will not be in the core. Of course, student debt, 60%, and then completion of the four goals that we're working with. And so, for humanities and people who are teaching Mexican American studies, I think that in this new process, our classes are going to get cut once again. And not only are we dealing with the state, but we're also dealing with our own administration, right? And race and ethnic studies are not a priority at the administrative levels. I mean, they would rather give funding to STEM, we all know that, than to Moss. So K through 12 is very important, because I think that if we give our students their own subjectivity in the classroom starting in K through 12, then they become invested in their education, right? And if they are invested in their own education, then they can help fight this fight. And they can stop education from being industry and corporate to having it about knowledge again. And so I think the only way to really, really fight this battle is to put Mexican American studies in K through 12 and give our students the subjectivity they need in education so they can fight this fight with us. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. Yes.
All right, so at this time, we'll go ahead and open the floor up to
My name is Stephanie Fama. I am Vice Chair of the Hispanics Organized for Political Education. I'm here to read copies of a resolution that was approved yesterday at the Democratic State Convention by Tejano Democrats. I will leave copies up here, and I left copies for the media with our presenter. And basically, we're here to loan in solidarity our political support
to all of the organizations that are here that have been working so very hard, doing a stellar and excellent and exceptional job on the academic part of putting all of our resources together. But we are here to tell you, as we know, all of the state board members are elected, and we are here to tell all of our constituents throughout the state of Texas that on the political end, we are going to be on guard with who it is that is running for the positions on the state board, and that we're here to support you. We will be there in number to ask the state board to halt and to stop the process of adopting this vote, to call for a new proclamation, and that we're here to support, not take the lead, but politically, we are ready in solidarity to be as your backup for all of the great things that you all are doing. Thank you on behalf of Joey Cardenas, our chair for Texas Tejano Democrats, and Linda Chavez, our chair for Hispanics Organized for Political Education. Thank you.
Thank you, Velma. As a representative of the State Board of Education and one of the downtown board, we very much appreciate the resolution. We will acknowledge it, and at least the downtown board will acknowledge it. We will be working very hard with our colleagues who don't necessarily fall in line with us, and try to talk some sense into them, basically, because this book is not something that Mexican American Studies stands for. A lot of the work in there is subjective, and we recognize that. And it's a matter of working with the individuals on the board who don't necessarily acknowledge that there are factual errors in this. And so we are working. We're already in communication with our colleagues, and we're trying to in preparation for the conversation that will happen in September, we are working. And so we have several months to gain at least the support of some of the mods on the board. And we will continue to work on that and answer any questions. And we will be reaching out to our colleagues on the elected side to see what we can do to sort of garner support in maybe the areas of Texas where it's a little more challenging. So thank you so much for the work, Velma, for the coalition that's put that work together.
I also want to bring up a point too that I'm kind of concerned about going into today, and I think it's a very important topic that y'all should kind of discuss in your breakout sessions. And I think that MOS in higher education is actually easier for us to implement, not easier for us to get funding and et cetera. But I think when we're talking about MOS in K through 12, there's a lot of systems that we have to break down in order for that to happen, right? We have K through 12 that is teaching for tests, right? So we have TEKS, we have state mandated exams, and I just think, like, I look at the structure of K through 12, and I think it can be done, but I want to know, how do we strategize and then fight for the implementation in K through 12? When you have a Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, and I always deal with them, but of course, what's the other organization that we deal with? What?
State Board of Education.
TEA, that's the one, yes, and the State Board of Education. So we have three big hurdles that are always here. Yeah, Barbara.
Yeah, I'm Barbara Rendon-Gonzalez, I'm a writer, and June and I have talked about this because I teach a class at Palo Alto in social work. I wish there were more, huh? Oh, you can hear me. Anyway, the todos. I teach a social work class at Palo Alto College, and I'm really honored and excited that Juan has been there and is leaving, by the way, in December. It's going to be a hard act to follow. But Chicano, what I see with my students is that, and these are brown, all my students are brown. They barely know who Cesar Chavez was, barely. They don't speak Spanish. And at a time when, we're a global world, which we say that over and over, and becomes critical in social work, and that's just apart from the, just the regular English side of it. They need to know their stories, because otherwise they can't tell people if they don't know culture, much less language. And it becomes vital in all areas. I have a friend who has a graduate degree in economics, for example, and she's dying to teach a course on inequality, because she recognizes that Chicanos, Mexican Americans, don't always understand how certain financial instruments and tiers affect them, and how society has been set up. So it becomes vital. I also wanted to say, a couple of years ago, I was in Poland, and I'm going back. My brother lives there, probably the only Chicano in Poland. And he learned Polish in 7 years. 7 years. He reads it and he writes it. There's no excuse for people who are native Texans do not speak Spanish. No excuse, okay? And it's the students that I had from the Ukraine, I'm from all over Poland and from Belarus, who's part of Russia now and all that. They speak 2, 3, 4 languages. They're dying to know who about us. They want to know. They know our geopolitics. So I encourage you, and by the way, Christopher's probably my third cousin, right? Right? Carmona? Okay. Anyway, but de todos modos, just wanted to say that, I'm claiming him. It's important, Mexican American Studies has resonance not just for us, but for Texas and for the world. What we have to offer matters. It will make us stronger, it will make us multidimensional, the more we know about who we are, the more we recognize that we are one with the world. Otherwise, we're dislike and distrust and fear. Take it from somebody who's there. Bueno, gracias.